Alright everyone, what's going on? Needs More Drums back in Grand Keys, City Skylines 2 for episode 2 of our third attempts at building the city. Hopefully bug free. We have a little bit of a vanilla build going on here, so we'll see if we can still build something realistic and functional. So in the last episode we laid the groundwork for some of our basic infrastructure, just kind of planning out maybe some of the main roads. We have our power and water established. We don't have any other city services at the moment. We do, however, have a requirement to add some healthcare and some garbage soon. So we'll try to get to that later this episode, but it really depends on if we have the income or not. I really want to focus on balancing the budget before we jump into some expensive city services like those, you know, especially with garbage. I don't actually even know where I'm going to put that yet. So we'll have to think about that kind of as we're building today. I want to think about where I'm gonna put a landfill for now. But first things first, I want to continue just expanding the city. As you can see, we're still losing some money pretty significantly. Our population is increasing at the moment, but we're kind of maxed out on construction from the last episode. So what we're gonna do today is I want to build out this entire area right here. I want to drag this road, which I assume will become a main road that will feed into this highway here and then into this main road slash highway down here. So this, I actually am probably going to try to limit zoning on this road, at least for most of like this stuff up here. I want to have, you know, things connect to it, but not have buildings on it. That way we can focus more on traffic flow. Same with this one here. You can see that it's currently, you know, just kind of on its own. There's not really a lot of buildings zoned on this road. And I do intend to try to keep it that way, just again, so that there's not a bunch of cars pulling out on it from, you know, like driveways and parking lots and things like that. So yeah, we will keep that in mind as we build. So let's just go ahead and jump right in and get started. All right, so like I said, I just want to continue this road kind of down this way to the highway, but I want to be mindful of the topography here. So it looks like we do have, you can see like here we have this giant hill that kind of, you know, goes right, the road just goes right up over that hill. And I might actually try to remove that for the time being, because I don't really like where it sits. And I know, you know, it might be a little bit unrealistic, but at the end of the day, you know, it's not that drastic. So I actually might do that now, and we'll rebuild this road here and then just try to flatten out this area. And I think I might just do like a slope from here to here and then kind of level it out based on that slope. So let's just give that a try and see what happens. So that is actually quite a significant slope along this hillside, but I think if we just kind of soften the terrain here, it might actually work pretty well for us in bringing down this middle part. I just kind of want to limit, you know, the drastic height change in this area. It'll just make for a lot, you know, a lot more aesthetically pleasing build, and it'll be definitely easier to work with. All right, so now that we have that, let's go ahead and drag out our road here, and I'm going to just take this one straight across. Very simple, straight to this connection here. And so far that's, you know, it's a little bit, it's not perfect in terms of, you know, just a straight flat terrain, but at the end of the day, that is super unrealistic to just flatten everything. So I do like to have a little bit, you know, of terrain differences in my cities, but just when you're building like a big area like this, sometimes it's just easier to make it a little more uniform. And I know we kind of have some odd shapes going on here and some odd intersections. So we have this road here. I'm thinking of kind of like a division between this grid layout going sort of diagonally this way, and then it'll shift to more of a straight grid layout here. So that's why I'm keeping this road dragged through this part. I think it'll look really cool to kind of keep this grid going for a little bit more. And I like to have some different grids in my cities. I think it, you know, pays tribute to like some of the roads that would have been here in the past. You know, not everything would have been perfectly planned out. You have some things going different directions and such, especially just because of the way that this follows the terrain. It makes sense that this might go, you know, diagonally here and then shift to more of a different direction here. So with this being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump into some more road layouts here. I want to fill all this out, and then we'll get into some zoning. And with in terms of road layouts, Part of me is tempted to do a 5-way intersection here, but I'm not going to do it because that would be literally awful. But what I am going to do is probably just have a couple more main roads here, and then we will continue this use of roads and alleyways. I kind of like the difference between the two, you know, like the contrast. And then once we get into here, this will be more of our populated kind of more downtown area. So we'll get into just using like just the roads as opposed to the alleyways. But for the, you know, this being still kind of the suburbs, I'd like to keep some of the alleyways if possible. Let's go ahead and just keep on going. All right, and so there are some things that are really, really annoying. This road, this grid is not completely square. So we're gonna have some weird zoning going on in terms of some of the directions. You know, it is what it is. That's kind of part of plain vanilla, is you can't, which is one thing that I hate about the new City Skylines 2, is that you can't actually change the direction of the zoning on the roads. I think that's a step backwards from City Skylines 1. Really, really frustrating, but you know what? Hopefully we'll get that in a patch eventually, since they added it as a feature in City Skylines 1, and I don't know why they didn't do it in this game. But whatever, you know, this neither here nor there. But yeah, you see we have these weird gaps kind of here and here. I wanted to keep some bigger spaces so that, you know, if we want to think about putting some kind of city service buildings or some bigger like commercial facilities, we could do that. I just left, you know, plus I don't want to bombard this main road here with a bunch of different connections, because that's just a little bit unnecessary right now. But one thing I will do, I think, is actually add a couple of roundabouts along here. And I feel like I should do it now. Actually, you know what? I think we have a progression node. Yeah, we do. So I think I'm going to go ahead and actually add get the roundabouts so that we can use some of the bigger ones and plan for the future. And so thinking about where some of these main roads are, I think it would make sense to have one right here and right here. I mean, potentially right here, but I feel like that would be a little bit too many in kind of close conjunction with one another. So let's go ahead and add just a small one there. I'll add a smaller one there as well. And that should be fine in terms of connecting up some of these main roads. And then I might actually add one here as well. This could be kind of a cool feature with the, you know, sort of double roundabout, and then I'll leave this open for a, you know, some different kind of either a park or like a different service facility or something, because we do have, you know, this main road coming down around from here. We're gonna have a lot of traffic there, and then this main road going straight up, and which will probably connect to the highway. So that'll be, you know, important that we have this connection here. But these, I think these are fine. It's just a few 4-way stops, and who knows, I may even get away, do away with some of these alleyway connections here. We'll see what happens with that. But anyway, it looks like we actually have a pretty big unemployment rate, 18.5%. Let's actually, before we zone out any more residential, let's go ahead and zone out some industry, and we'll kind of fill in this area here. And I am going to probably add, you know, some kind of parking lot over here in the future. So I might just leave that for now, and we can kind of fill that in as needed. Same with here. Maybe I'll leave some of the spots over here open for now, because that is the next progression node that I want to get. I want to get some parking lots, and just mixing up my building sizes. You know, I kind of like to do that, and hopefully that'll bring some more people in here. And let's go and zone out a little bit of commercial as well. And so I'm thinking for commercial, I'll zone kind of around here. We'll fill in these spots here with some commercial. And maybe, this I could save for something else for now, but I might zone a little bit along about right here on this Linden Street right here. We'll go kind of like something like that. That'll look nice. And then now we just need to fill in a lot of the residential around here. So we'll just kind of fill in these blocks. I'm going to keep it primarily low density, but I think I may throw in some medium density, kind of, maybe in this corner, maybe even along like this road here, since this is kind of a main road for us. Might even throw a little commercial in here as well. Just, at the kind of some corner shops and things. So let's go ahead and do that right now. All right, so we've got some of the zones laid out here, but you can see that we're having an issue with some of the city services. So we do need to think about getting some healthcare and some death care in here, since it's actually bringing down the efficiency of our power plant. Also, yeah, we have some garbage piling up that is not good. We don't want that at the power plant. That'll cause some pretty big issues down the line. So I think what we might do is, just for now, so I know it might be a little bit expensive, but I'm almost tempted to purchase another tile and put the landfill somewhere kind of over here or something, because let me just pause the game real quick to just think about this, because I don't want it in this corner. That's where the the pollution will travel directly over the city over this way. I might be able to get away with putting it here, but then we're gonna have to move it later, because it's gonna, it's gonna bring pollution down here, and this is kind of gonna be just outside of our downtown. I'm envisioning our downtown, and at least this city here is gonna be somewhere in this area. So I'm really not loving the idea of that. It's tough because there's not a great place to put a landfill in this map at the moment. And you see the area that it'll take up is actually pretty significant. I do want to make sure that we try to use as much of the space as we can, because that makes sense. That way we don't have to try to worry about it filling up too quickly. It'll give us a little bit more breathing room until we can afford something a little bit better that actually processes the waste a little bit faster. So what I'm actually thinking? I just remembered that one benefit to this game, I know people will say that there are more drawbacks than benefits, but one benefit is the fact that you don't need to purchase adjacent tiles. So I could purchase one, all the way out here or whatever. And I think I might actually do that, because then I could put the landfill kind of out of sight, out of mind, and just have a highway connection, so I could just make a very crappy makeshift connection that would allow garbage trucks to make it all the way down here, pick up some of the garbage, and then go on their merry way. And I don't want to put the landfill, you know, anywhere over here. I think this is going to be reserved for something a little bit nicer, hopefully. I mean, I do plan on putting the industry out this way, but even so, I think this could be an area where we could do something, you know, a little bit cool, a little bit different. And I don't want to waste that by putting a landfill there. So where I'm thinking for the landfill is I would like to put it over here, but we don't have any road connection out here, and I would have to purchase adjacent tiles to get a road connection out there. So I think what I might do is actually put it somewhere like over here, off the highway in these mountains, and I envision us building kind of a second city over here eventually once time allows, because there's a lot of just really flat land over here. I mean, you can see from the topography, this whole area is just, it's just begging to be developed into a massive sprawling city in between the hillside and just kind of overlooking the coast here. I think this could be a really, really cool spot for one. So yeah, so what we'll do is put it somewhere probably right here. Let's just take a look at our tiles. So I will admit, I love this tile, but it has an insane upkeep cost. That is because it has a lot of ore deposits here. Whereas, you know, something like this one does not have as many natural resources. This one has a lot of wood and ore deposits. This one, yeah, this one just like doesn't. But this one is also less buildable space. And so we can't really fit the whole landfill right here in this corner, which really sucks. I think we might end up purchasing this one. I wish I could purchase just kind of like one of these, but this one with this hill, there's not a lot of room to build it kind of like right here, and I'd hate to do that for, you know, pollution reasons. And of course, again, we don't have any kind of a highway connection, you know, that we'd be able to take advantage of here. So I think we're just gonna have to bite the bullet and develop maybe this one, unless there's one that I'm not seeing, but I think that's probably our best bet. Yeah, it looks like it. We're just gonna have to bite the bullet, and pretty soon, you know, with our city expanding, I think we'll be fine. I mean, we're losing money, but we're not, you know, losing like a complete total, you know, tons of money. So we'll just do what we can. Let's go ahead and just pull the trigger. We'll buy it. And that was really expensive, and I regret it, but you know what? It is what it is. So this should allow us to build our landfill kind of right here, and we'll use, again, just like the most area that we can with this. And I think I'm just going to kind of set it back, like, actually I'll put it close to the highway so that we can take advantage of the area behind it. Let's just go ahead and we'll drag, and when I'm talking like simple, I mean like we may just do something like, I don't even know if I'm going to do a proper interchange. Might just do something literally like this. Looks good to me. And actually, you know what I might do? We're going to do something that I've been wanting to do in this game for a long time, and that is drag out some what's called Jeffersonian grids. So I've heard. And so these are sort of like land markings that kind of were put in place a long time ago, and they kind of denote where certain land boundaries were and how land was divided up. So doing something like this will allow us to do something cool, you know, in the future in terms of planning out like some county roads, some rural areas. We can actually make some nice grids once we get a little bit more into development, and we can actually have an idea of where the land boundaries are going to be. But anyway, so we're going to do something just like this for now. And I think where I'm going to put this, I kind of want to put it, I would hate to I want to encroach the least amount as possible onto this ore area. And it looks like this ore area is kind of like in this mountain here. There's a little hill right here. So I'm wondering if I should kind of put this more over this way. I think I might do that, and then we will fill it out with the landfill area the best we can. And still, like, I imagine deleting this in the future. So if we do want to access this ground resource, we could be able to do that a little bit later. So no worries there. But anyway, yeah, let's put it kind of somewhere like this. We'll just kind of drag this out here like so. Then maybe we can do something like that. We'll go ahead and place our landfill. And that landfill is absolutely massive, and what an eyesore it is to the landscape. But you know what? That's kind of how these things are. I mean, you know, what else are you going to do? And I left a little space here because I wanted to actually drag out some industry. And actually, you know what I just realized is ooh, this is going to be a problem. We don't have a water connection or a power connection. Oh man, we are going to have to buy adjacent tiles, aren't we? Well, that did not work as intended. All right, you know what? I changed my mind. We are not going to do that because there's no way I'm doing that. I reverted back to a previous save that I just made since we developed this little area right here. And we're going to be smart. We're going to be smart about this because that's just too big of a problem to make this early in the game, and we don't have enough income to really support an expansion like that. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to have to deal with the effects of this, and I'm going to try to put it somewhere. So I think if I put it here, the wind might actually carry it kind of out past this highway here based on where these arrows are going. So I think that should actually be fine. So we're going to put the landfill in this corner for now. And maybe we can put a little bit of an industrial area over here or something too. And that way, you know, we don't have to expand, and we can always delete this later, which I think is going to be a good plan. You know, we're going to delete this later and kind of move it somewhere else. But for now, it cannot go over here. We cannot afford purchasing those tiles. So sorry about that. You're going to have to live with my reversal of that decision, is what it is. But yeah, you live and learn, right? So I think we're going to put this, let's do something kind of like this here. Then we'll just put our landfill. We do have the power lines in the way, which kind of sucks, but we're going to do what we can with that. I think we can, if we at least expand it to actually, you know what? I'm going to give myself a little bit more room. I'm going to put it kind of offset here. And we're going to do it like kind of like more like this, so we could actually take advantage of this whole space. All right, now we got another progression node, which is decent. But I don't want that right now because then we have to add more city services that we don't have the money for. So that kind of sucks, but oh well. We're just going to kind of loop this around. I'm actually going to move these power lines a little bit as well. We're going to bump them over a little bit closer to the highway so that we can expand this the maximum area. All right, that is way better. That is way better than it was. Great. We do need to adjust our water budget though. However, it looks like we're a little bit low on that. Bring that up to about 60%. Now for garbage, we'll just let these guys go ahead and do what they got to do. No worries there. And yeah, that's just an absolute eyesore for the landscape. But you know, that's kind of the growing pains with new cities. You just got to make things a little bit temporary. So that is definitely going to be temporary. Now we'll just go ahead and do a little bit more zoning. And the next step is to afford some either healthcare or death care, or both preferably. We just need to get our income levels up a little bit to be able to do that. One thing that I'm thinking of doing too is actually adjusting taxes for industry and commercial. We'll see if I actually end up doing that, but that's always a good way to bring a little additional income in as well. So since we did get that additional development point, I do want to go and take this moment to grab a crematorium. Because the crematorium, I actually looked into this a little bit, and so, well, the cemetery is significantly cheaper than the crematorium. It does have a slightly higher upkeep cost, and it takes up just so much space. Like, I don't think we need this in the city right now. I think this space would be better utilized, you know, for something like I don't know, houses. So, you know, the crematorium is kind of the route that I want to go in terms of processing our death care. And then for healthcare, same situation with like the small medical clinic. It is half the price of the original medical clinic, but it only has a quarter of the capacity. And yes, it does have half the upkeep cost, but at a quarter of the capacity, you know, we can bring this down, just bring down the budget on this by a quarter, and then we would have probably half of the cost of this. So, you know, 10,000, you know, bring 20,000 down, about 75%. We're left with, you know, like $5,000. And math is fun and it can save us a lot of money. So I think we'll actually end up doing that, but I don't want to put that down just yet because I do want to make a little bit more money first before we actually spend more on city services. And you can see our residential demand is still quite high. So we're just going to go ahead and keep zoning out some homes here. I want to use, you know, a little bit of the mixture of kind of all of what we got, since we do have all the different zoning types available. And I might even throw in a couple of medium density apartments here pretty soon, but I want to keep it primarily low for now. But the medium density is nice because they are a bit cheaper. We'll just kind of see what happens. Let's just go ahead and fill in this area, and then I will talk to you guys in a minute. All right, and so I'm actually quite happy with the progress that we've made today. We filled out this area that I pretty much wanted to fill out. We have some more industry. We got this area filled out. We have our landfill established, and it is working really, really well. We're actually over 100% efficiency, which is awesome. And we still need to figure out some healthcare and death care services, but you know what? We're going to wait until the next episode for that. After we do a bit more expansion, get just a bit more money, and then I think we'll be in great shape to start adding those in. And I envision, you know, one of those kind of somewhere either over here or over here. We'll figure that out in the next episode as we expand over this way and get a whole new grid layout to the city. It'll really, really start to come together, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I actually just realized we have this area over here, so I might fill this in off camera a little bit, just kind of play around with some of this stuff. You know, there's some empty spaces that I want to fill in at the moment, and you know, I just don't really have the patience for it right now. So man, that was so frustrating, like with this landfill thing. I'm so glad that we made the decision to kind of revert back and approach that again, because, you know, although you don't really get that choice as an urban planner, I feel like you would have a lot of people telling you why or why not you should make a decision. And I feel like that was one that a lot of people would be screaming at me. Oh, well, how are you going to get water there? How are you going to get power there? You know, you'll have to build a new transformer. You'll have to build utilities all the way under the highway. And so I think just looking back, it was way smarter that we reconsidered and put it over here temporarily for now. So with that being said, hope you guys all have a fantastic rest of your week. I will talk to you guys in the next episode. So in the meantime, enjoy some City Skylines 2, and I will see you later. Peace.